for joining me on Life Less Ordinary. This morning I'm going to take you on a tour of our garden. I'm going to show you the fruit trees that are out the front. I'm going to show you the vegetable gardens that are down the back, and there's a lot of other things that are in between. It's the beginning of February. We've had heaps and heaps of rain, so I'm wearing my red gumboots, and we're going to just walk through and see what we have growing here. So I've just walked out the front door, and what I have here, we have fruit trees that are espaliered along of here. I've sown some seeds in soil blocks. I did have them over here, and then I was just watering them. They're at 2 weeks today, so I'm just allowing them out for a bit of sun during the day, and then I'll move them back over there at night time. And I just need to be careful because of the amount of rain that we had if we do get a downpour, that I move them out of the way back over under cover, otherwise they will fall apart. We have fruit trees along of here. These are pink lady apples, and I have planted various herbs, comfrey, basil, chives along of here. And then as you can see that we've espaliered all of these trees, and they're netted at the moment. These ones are apple trees. Pink lady, I have 2 there, and then another one here, and then up in this middle section here there's one up there that's netted as well. So we net them because we have a rather large problem with cockatoos here, particularly this time of year. The fruit won't be ready until late April, beginning of May. So we net them so that we can actually get fruit. Now, as you can see, I've got some work to do this week. There's a lot of fruit that has dropped, and I've noticed in speaking to a lot of other people, they're having the same issue, I think because of the amount of wet weather that we've had. So a lot of the fruit is dropping well before its maturity date. So yeah, that's what happens when you grow fruit trees. Sometimes the weather doesn't help, sometimes it does. At the moment it's not really helping. I've interspersed here in a no-dig type of method lots of different flowers and herbs, so echinacea, foxgloves, delphiniums. There's a sunflower that's trying to make its way out there. I've even got rhubarb and bee balm, or lemon balm as that's called. A massive amount of comfrey there. That's just hiding. It's a bit hard to see there, but there's a plum tree that I've planted probably about last September, so I'll let that grow for a year or two, and as it grows I'll start espaliering it to the wires that are there. So let's head back over this way and see what we've got growing up here. This is a garden bed that I've tried doing lots of different things with not much success, because it doesn't get much sun because of the roofing here, and I'm also a little concerned because of the copper logs that are here. So they have been treated, they're treated logs, so I'd prefer not to grow things that we're necessarily going to eat. So I do have some herbs growing here, but the plan is, after lots of different things that I've tried, the plan is just for flowers, cut flower type plants in here. As we go up the stairs, it's a lovely sunflower, and I think there's some sunflowers over here as well that are coming up. My favourite rose, Pierre de Ronsard, it's looking a bit straggly at the moment, but it's come back with some flowers. Not much greenery though. This is my greenhouse, which at the moment, even though we've had a very mild summer, so I think the highest we've had is 35 degrees Celsius. We would normally get 40s, sometimes 45s. Not many of those 45s, but it means that this greenhouse is far too hot to have any of my plants that I'm growing from seed in there. So at the moment they're out on here, and as you saw before, I had them down there, starting them under cover there. As we come up these stairs, we have 3 feijoas. So there's one here, one there, and there's another one in this plant that I'm going to plant in the middle. I just require my husband to dig a big hole for me. We have cherry trees. There's another pink lady apple tree here, and a plum that again I planted at a similar time to the one that's on the end down there. So I'll just let them grow a bit, not do too much. Every so often I might look at it and say, okay, yes, I can start training one of these branches along of the wire. And we also have another plum tree, which that's been there for probably 3 years, so I've got a good deal of fruit off this year. And then I've interplanted around the front, the other side and this side here with various herbs and perennial type plants that are beneficial insect type plants. Up this side is where a lot of my citrus are, or where I'm intending to put more citrus. So we have a lemon tree here, blood orange, mandarin. There's 2 white mulberry trees, so they finished fruiting in December. Then down here, this section here is a little project that Salome, our 9-year-old, is going to be working on. We have been kind of pasturing our little chickens, so these are probably about 14 weeks old. There's 3 of them. They've been sort of being allowed to roam here just to scratch around. The idea being that we'll do a no-dig garden. So if you have heard anything about a fellow named Charles Dowding, search for him. He has some great videos, and he's in a cold climate to the south of the UK, and he talks a lot about using no dig, and that's what the intention is, to give that a trial here for Salome to do that. So we will be getting a truckload of wood chip. First we'll lay down cardboard to cover the whole area, and then lay a very thick layer, probably 20 centimetres worth of wood chip on top, and then do rows going acrossways of the compost that we have up there. As you can see, we have a decent slope on here, so I'm hoping that the wood chip interspersed in rows will help with that slope and help us not to lose too much soil. Salome is going to be working on that. We'll do that together, and she'll be planting different seeds for the season for her to grow. She loves gardening and loves being out and helping, so it'd be a good opportunity for her to learn some stuff, and it'd be a good opportunity for us to see what using no dig in a larger space is like. So you'll be hearing about that a bit more as we progress. We do have 2 David Austin roses. This one is a Mr. Lincoln, that's what it is. Lovely fragrance is this one. Here's our lovely pile of compost that's ready to go down the back in barrow loads. Up in this section we'll be planting more citrus, but I have got an Australian lime. I've just pulled out a lemon here that got damaged because we transplanted it 2 years ago, and it didn't quite take. It was only growing from the rootstock, which meant we didn't have any fruit, so it's gone, and we'll plant something more there. Coming around our pile here along the front of the house, so along of here, so the front door's down there. What we do have here are an apple and a pear tree along that section there, which in front of that I'm planting lots of different herbs. We're getting these 2 trees chopped down because, as you can see with that one, it is pretty dead and it's actually overhanging the house. So it's a bit dangerous, so that will be done in the next little bit. But the idea here on this top row here, which we have started trying no dig, but I didn't keep on top of it, so we'll have to try and get that back. And we'll be planting blueberry trees along of here, and then along the front on the next level down we'll just continue the cut flowers. Coming through into the backyard, what we have here is an elderberry or elderflower, elderberry, an old tree stump which I've planted in Kent pumpkin, I think, a couple of them. So with the tree stump we just had to keep on top of the snails. They very prolific in tree stumps, they love the wood. Good compost that's breaking down, although it looks like someone's added stuff on top, and starting compost again, which the chickens have managed to get at. Over here we've got interspersed rows or alternating rows of asparagus and strawberry, and there are a few different varieties. What I have found with that is, with the strawberries in particular, I am going to have to net these, hoop and net them, because the birds, the currawongs in particular, keep getting at them, as do the chickens, which for the moment, for some reason today, they've managed to stay inside their fenced-in area. Normally there will be a couple of them will escape, which causes us lots of issues. Over here we have a mulberry tree which I think got broken by a cow we had here once, and it's not growing particularly well, as you can see by the shape of it. So I am considering chopping that and replacing it, because it's more like a bush rather than a tree. And then here we've had potatoes, many varieties of potatoes growing in here, and we'll start harvesting them in the next month or so, I think. And then the bulk of our vegetable garden is down the back here. As you can see with the chickens that are here, they're fenced in and they've got their trailer, but what we do is move that around every 2 days. We move the chicken trailer and their fenced in area so that they aren't digging up and trashing the one section for days, if not weeks on end. So we move them every 2 days in order to counteract that. Okay, so down here we have our gardens. So what we have are 16 garden beds, generally 3 metres by 1.5, and we will do a video to show how we made particularly these last 2 beds, and it'll show how we put it together, what we put in it, and then the watering system that Dean will put in. So coming through here, flowers, these will be dahlias here, and then into this bed we've got beetroot that was probably planted about a month and a half after the beetroot that I planted in that first garden over there. So that's the idea of succession sowing, so that you don't have a glut in one hit. We have enough that will last over the whole season. And then onion in there, tomatoes, a variety of tomatoes. These were the last tomatoes pretty much that I planted. Flowers on the ends of there for pollination and for just beneficial insects. So tansy and sunflowers. We have zucchini along this side, plus in front there are carrots that I planted probably about a month and a half ago, so they go all the way along that edge. There, nasturtiums on the end. What have we got here? I haven't planted anything in here other than just some flowers on the ends. This one's probably the last bed that I actually did plant, and it's doing the best. The soil that I've managed to put in here, which is from the same company that I've got the soil that's up the top. The compost from up there, it has been absolutely fantastic. So a variety of lettuce interspersed with spring onions, and in here we have spinach, and I have in there some carrot, but they've only been put in as seeds almost 2 weeks ago, so they're not yet up. Okay, and here what we have are a variety of tomatoes, capsicum, marigolds, beetroot along this side, and those ones are eggplant. And in front here, just starting to come up now, I've put turnips. This is one of the first beds. These two are our first beds that we planted with tomato. So we've planted these with tomatoes, beetroot, and carrot. As you can see, the beetroot is well and truly ready to be harvested. The carrot not quite so ready, almost, but not quite. There's chilies in amongst there, cucumber towards the back. These will be cherry tomatoes here. Again, beneficial insect attracting plants on either end, calendula, marigolds, some dill reaching over. And here, these are Amish paste. Let's see if I can find some. Yep. So they're getting to be a good size, and then they'll ripen up. And then tomato on the end here. We have lettuce here, which we've been harvesting leaves from the outside and the bottom. Some more chili and cucumbers. So some chili here, as you can see. And then over here, this is the first time we have actually grown these up along these trellis that we've built out of the Rio. So these ones are a rock melon. So there's 6 plants along here, and we're just starting to get fruit on those as they grow. Then we have corn that needs harvesting, some lettuce along there, perennial spinach, and spring onions that are coming up and can probably start to be harvested soon. Then we have lots and lots of corn that I will harvest this week, and we'll do a video on that. And then a couple of varieties of different types of pumpkin. They are really only small, which aren't overly helpful for our family, but I'm just giving them a go. Some blackjack zucchini in here, and then these ones have been the first time I have actually grown these. These are the Trompachino Zucchini. The kids love them roasted and they look fantastic. So these are probably just slightly too long. They need to be about 25 centimetres, but they'll be fine. We can still eat them and enjoy them. More pumpkins here, and these cucumbers are cucumber lemon. I've grown these because they seem to be the most disease resistant, and they've actually grown prolifically, and it's been fantastic. The beans for these trellis, I think these are dragon tongue, have not done well at all. Something's obviously eating them, and they're ready to be pulled out. So I'll plant something else, build the soil, put a bit more compost there, and then our sunflowers, which I've just got them hanging there. These flowered probably about a month and a half ago, the giant Russians, and I've got them hanging so they can dry a bit. Some of the birds have been eating at them, so I will take them off shortly and put them somewhere so that I can harvest the seeds so that we can grow more next year, and so that we can give some to the chickens as well. This is something that we're trialing. It's the first time I've done it. I've read mixed reviews about planting in this way. So what we've got are corn, and then on each of the four corners of the corn are two different varieties of bean, and then also what's going to grow along the underneath as a ground cover will be a couple of varieties of pumpkin. So this is called the Three Sisters method. The idea being that as the corn stalk grows, the beans will grow up the corn stalk, so that will be the trellis to some degree, and the pumpkin as a ground cover will act as kind of like a mulch in protecting the soil, and keeping weeds from growing as well. So we'll see how that goes. I will keep you updated. It's doing okay at the moment. Sweet potato in this. I've never grown sweet potato, so we will see how this goes. There's 3 different varieties in this garden. Now these are the 2 beds that at the moment are just filled. We're filling them with rotting or old wood, and old grass that's drying out, and then it will be filled with wood chip and mulch on top. And here it's getting towards autumn. The weather has been really bizarre. So there's 4 different types of grapes that we've planted, and the idea is that I'm going to train them up this, and then have wires running and hopefully have grapes hanging from there. That's the plan. We'll see how we go. So there's another grape here, and then one more over here. So there are 4 different types of table grapes. The idea being that they'll give a little bit of shade in summer when they're eventually full, and when we eventually have a summer, and we'll be able to sit out here and enjoy the garden as it grows. Now the last thing that we have done, we've espaliered along here with the idea of all these raspberries, so varieties of berries, so raspberries, young berries, boysenberries, there's even white raspberries there, and some blackberries right down the end. So I haven't quite got there, but the idea is to grow them up here, and then along the front here will be a couple of probably apple trees. We do eat a lot of apples, so espalier apple tree, apples like we have out the front, so they will grow along of here. And I have just purchased some banana passion fruit, which grows well in cool climate, which is where we are in the Southern Highlands. So cool climate banana passion fruit, which I will grow along either one here and another one over here, or 2 here. I haven't quite decided. That's what we'll plant along here. We'll also probably, the idea will be to espalier more of the berries that are along there here, but I'll have to give some thought to that, because this does get a lot of afternoon shade from the property behind us. So maybe not in this section just here, but certainly over there I can do that. But that's what the plan is. So that's our vegetable garden, and you've seen the fruit trees out the front. Thanks for joining me as we've done this garden tour in a cool climate garden at the beginning of February. Hopefully it's been helpful for you, and you've been encouraged to step out of the everyday and live a life less ordinary. Thanks.